empowering us as women, as agents, as realtors, as people. Janice, we're so proud of you. We are the first national brokerage that's female-owned.
Yeah.
We love you. Thank you. So I'm Mary Daggett. I founded Power Girls in 2016 because I needed y'all. I needed you beautiful women to be my support, to be selfishly here for me, right? I was at a conference just like this, and I wasn't paying attention. But what I was paying attention to was my soul and my gut telling me we needed a place for women.
Yeah.
More important, right? So all the women around me, I'm on my Facebook, I do this goofy group. What am I going to call us? I don't know. Power Girls. Yeah. Right? So it stuck. Everybody around me was the first inaugural women in our group 7 years ago. Some of these women were there, and I was so proud of you. I'm a little nervous, but this is okay. We're good. So here we are 7 years later. We make this enormous change to this beautiful brokerage. And let me tell you, these 3 people that are leading us, 4 people that are leading us, they saw our vision and they said, you have to be a part of us. You have to be a part of Epic. We want you, and we want you to be powerful women within our company. Thank you. So, that's a little bit about us. What we're going to do today is really, I am so proud of all of you. This is our national leadership of Power Girls. All 7 of us. We've got a few little announcements at the end, so please stick around. But what I want you to know is every woman in here, you have a place. You have people. You have women, like-minded like you, and you beautiful men, strong, supportive men. What I need you to do is I need you to let your women in your life know they have a place. I need you to let your organization, the women in your organization, know they have a place. And that's with us. I love you.
All right, I'm Jennifer Jeffcoat, and I will start this party now, moderating this panel. Thank you, Mary, so much. And I just wanted to start by saying, too, I am so grateful to be here on this stage. Like, this is incredible. When I joined last year in August, I thought to myself, and I talked to Jay about this, one day we're going to be walking on that stage, right? And here we are. Yeah. So it's pretty powerful, it's pretty exciting, and I couldn't think of a better group of women to be a part of this first time on stage. So with that, I'd like for each of you just to give us a quick introduction. We'll start with you, Dawn.
Okay, great, thank you. I'm Dawn Loding. I am from Texas, New Braunfels, Texas. I met this woman about 7 years ago, and I'm going to tell my story a little bit. Quick little story.
So there's a crybaby, so we're going to try not to. Or talk too much. It's hard to do.
I got the hint. All right. Short story, I said. So I found myself 7 years ago. I was invited to a different brokerage, and it was a different kind of brokerage than what I was used to. I was used to 4 walls in my brokerage, you know, the 4 walls that I went into every day and thought I was doing what I was meant to do. And then I was also in the 4 walls of my city. And that was kind of, you know, that was just the mindset that we had and the limited belief. But when I saw this online model 7 years ago, I knew I had to be a part of that. And I knew that I was taking a leap, like a risk, because I had been a real estate agent at that point for 15 years with a successful real estate business and a team and all this stuff. And then I just saw this. I'm like, okay, I know I need to do this. So I joined that brokerage, and I was told I needed to go to these national events like this right here. But this is, you got to go with me here. I know I'm going into the past a bit, but I go to this national event, and it's the first time for so many different things. For one, I had to get on a plane and go to this event, And then I had to get off the plane and go take an Uber. Like, that's the first time I ever took an Uber. I was like, you want me to get in a car with a stranger? Like, is this for real? Like, I know I'm all about new opportunities, but come on. But I made it to the hotel. I'm alone. Like, this is an event. I've never been to anything like it. And so I get there, I get checked in, and I'm thinking, oh my God, what have I done? I go up to my room and I just start crying. I'm like, oh my God, this is so out of my league. Like, I don't belong here. I don't belong here, and I made a huge mistake. I need to go back to safety. And I thought I just remember it so clearly. I'd already got my lanyard and I already checked in, so I'm in the room and I'm thinking, you know what? I gotta put my big girl panties back on and I gotta go downstairs and I gotta do this. Like, I've got to go do this. I don't know what it is I'm doing, but I gotta go. So I go ahead, I get cleaned up, I go downstairs, and I'm walking through the hotel lobby, and I kind of stop, like maybe from here to like halfway through the room, and I see this group of women, and I see these pink Power Girls hats and signs and stuff like that, and I just kind of stop and I look at them, there's about 20 of them, and I'm like, man, what have I got? I'm thinking to myself, what have I got to do to like be in that group? Like, that group looks way more fun than being by myself. And about at that point, one of those women came and walked over to me, and she asked me if I was a Power Girl, and I'm like, no, but what have I got to do to be one? Because I'll do it. Is there an initiation? What is it? Like, I'm in. And so she goes, come on. And she grabbed my arm and she pulled me into that group. And that woman was this woman right here, Mary Baggett. And I knew from that point on I had found my tribe, and I knew that I never wanted any other woman to feel like I felt in that room. And I wanted to be a part of that. So shortly after, I became the National Education Director for the Power Girls group, which is a national group. We have a Facebook group. We're launching Power Girls 2.0. And
She may be giving a little secret.
No, I'm not. No secrets. I'm not going there. But anyway, I'm just saying, we've got big plans. And we are so happy to be able to have all of you ladies with us. So,
Dawn Loding, everyone.
Hey there, I am from Asheville, North Carolina. I've been in real estate since 2008, so for a while. I met these women and absolutely fell in love with them. We actually met years ago at a different brokerage, and we clicked right away. And by the way, if you guys have cheesecake, give her cheesecake. If you want to make Mary happy.
No, you did not.
keep Mary away from the cheesecake.
That's a personal joke. Something we experienced at the Christmas party in Houston, which was amazing.
Yes.
Cheesecake.
Somebody wanted cheesecake late at night.
Yes.
And she just
I did, and I got it. All right, stop.
All right.
Hey y'all, I'm Jess Smith. I'm the Austin area leader, and I'm really thankful to be in this group with these ladies, to have met you guys. I'm also one of the coaches for Groups Orbit, and I've been a realtor since about 2008.
Hi everyone, good morning. My name is Jasmine Saeed. I'm an area leader in Southern California. I have over 20 years of business experience, and I've been a real estate agent for about 7 years. Dawn and I had met at a previous brokerage, and I was perfectly happy. I wasn't really looking to make a change, but when she made the move, I started kind of stalking her on social media and looking at everything, and then once I got all the details, I was in, and these group of women have been amazing. Definitely make you feel like you belong and you're a part of something, and I love them.
Hi everyone, I'm Angela Kristen Taylor, and I am the managing state broker in Georgia here for Epic Realty.
Yeah.
I also serve on the executive advisory board here and the founding members board. I'm very proud to say that. It's a real honor to be part of those groups. And I've been in real estate for 30 years, and I entered the coaching and consulting aspect of things around 21 years ago. And I met Dawn when the Power
Anybody
Girls
seeing
asked me.
trail here?
Yeah, there's a trail. There's
Trail to Dawn.
A trail of Dawn, yes. And so it was about, what was it? 7 years ago, I think. About 7 years ago. And I was asked to speak at a Power Girls event. And so I was speaking, and then Dawn called me afterwards, and she says, listen, I'm not going to hire you. I don't want to coach. But I really wanted to talk to you because what you said was really, amazing. And then she ended up hiring me as a coach.
Yeah, I was writing a check before the meeting was even over.
So, and then we worked together for 3 years. I became part of Power Girls. And it's been such an honor. And I love that. And sorry guys. And then Mary and I actually found out later that we grew up in the same town, went to neighboring high schools, and graduated the same year, which was so awesome. And
Florida girls.
yeah, Florida girls. And we knew a lot of the same people, but we had never met each other. And it's so amazing to see how everything can just tie together, all these synchronicities, and to see the seven of us and how we have come together and the things that we have done together are just so empowering, and I'm so grateful to be here with all of you.
I can't wait to see what we create together even in this coming year.
Oh, I know.
It's going to be pretty incredible. And I think that's something that just has resonated with me. It's just such a beautiful group of women coming together, empowering each other, lifting each other up, supporting each other. Like, there's something so beautiful about that when women can come together and do that, not tear each other down, but they come together to uplift each other. And the same with men, it's like when you have that brotherhood and sisterhood, there's nothing more beautiful than that. But I'm going to get to Dawn. So first question to you. You have your Freedom to Flourish platform, and I know that you're always talking about abundance. In fact, if anyone talks to you, that is your word of the year, right?
Yes, abundance.
So talk to us about how, just as a leader and a human being, really, that you were able to stay in that abundance mindset despite a lot of the inevitable challenges that pop up in life.
Okay, yeah, it's a daily practice that I practice, and it has not always come easy. And I want to say, before I started coaching with Angela Kristen Taylor over there, I didn't realize what living in survival mode and scarcity meant. I knew once I started learning about that, I started to put the pieces together, and I started working more on my mindset stuff, and I started seeing all of these patterns and these triggers and all of these things that I had been doing for my entire adult life that stemmed from my childhood of living in scarcity, living in survival mode, not knowing if I was going to be safe, not knowing if just so many unknown things. And so, I carried that into my 20s, and then I got my real estate license in my 30s, my early 30s, and I was like, game on, I'm in control of this now, right? Little did I know, that doesn't change anything. Literally those things in my head are still there, and I had to reprogram them. So it has taken a lot of time that I had to recognize first what they were, like a fly on the wall inside my own head going, oh my gosh, you're doing that again. You've got to stop that. And it's a daily practice still. That's why my word for the year is abundance. I wake up every day, I get grounded in what my goals are, what my vision is, what I want for my family, and the biggest thing is the legacy I want to leave for my children. I have 4 sons and 7 grandsons, and they are at the top of that list of why I do everything that I do. And then it's all of the other realtors and the women that I want to help build that abundance lifestyle also, because if I can do it, anybody can do it. And I want to help you figure out how. So that's my whole Freedom to Flourish through real estate platforms.
It's a conscious effort that we have to, every morning when you get up, you have to set that stage in your mind for how you want to show up that day, who you want to be, right? So, and we all have our stories, like you mentioned. Jasmine has a pretty incredible story. Yesterday, Rob Stein came in and was talking to us all about being unstoppable, right? Despite all the challenges that we face, continuing to get up and be unstoppable. And I mean, your parents were immigrants from Fiji, came over separately, not even together, they met in the States, but your father only had $100 in his pocket when he came here. Pretty incredible, and you're like, as a self-made woman, right? Can you talk to us about what you had to do to raise yourself up so that you could create the life that you're living now?
Definitely. So to try not to get emotional, I have this little card to kind of bat so I don't start tearing up. So my dad literally came to California, San Francisco. He was 18 years old with $100 in his pocket. Literally the American dream. He figured he wanted to get to America because that was a land of opportunity. So he figured out a way to get to San Francisco and kind of played it by ear. He then met my mom's father and they became friends, and he introduced his daughter to my dad, and that's actually how they met. And they're actually from the same city in the Fiji Islands, which is pretty incredible. So my dad is a very hardworking man. He worked 2 or 3 jobs. We basically, it's just in my family, it's a small family. It's my brother and I, he's 3 years older than me. And so culturally, I grew up in a very, very strict household where the girls are kind of, you're supposed to just be in the kitchen, cook and clean. And if you have ambitions, that's really cute, but I need you to focus here. And so I was kind of like the rebel of the family, like the black sheep, where my mom would get frustrated, like, why don't you want to learn to cook this dish? And I'm like,
not you, black sheep.
no, I'm like, well, cooking's fine, but that's not my passion. And my mom's like, it doesn't matter about passion, because when you get married, your husband's gonna expect you to cook and clean. And I'm like, well, then I'm not gonna get married, because I'm looking for a partnership. I'm not looking for like a servant or something. So it was just a constant clash. And so I had to learn how to have my own voice, how to advocate for myself, even if it meant not, just going in the opposite direction of what my parents wanted. I was very strong-willed and very business-minded. My dad was very inspiring to me because he had a lot of rental properties. So my dad's a self-made millionaire, and he invested in real estate, and he had properties, and he also, we ended up getting into the restaurant business. We had a mom and pop New York pizza shop, and I was like 5 feet tall, throwing up dough in the air and making pizzas that were 30 inches. And I like to do that. Like, I like the hustle bustle, the restaurant industry. For any of you guys that have been in it, it's a very tough industry. It'll, they'll spit you right out. And so we did the mom and pop thing for a couple years, and then we ended up becoming franchisees of a national franchise chain, Denny's Restaurants. And we bought the first restaurant. It was a turnkey operation. I was about 22, and I did not want to get into the restaurant industry. My goal was to open up a salon. So while I was in high school, I ended up getting my cosmetology license. So by the time I graduated, I became a licensed cosmetologist. And my path was to buy a salon. And at that time, it was Supercuts. And my dad was like, yes, I got you. I'm going to invest in you. And then all of a sudden, after I started working in the salon, my dad was like, hey, that salon thing, let's put on hold and let's buy this restaurant. And I'm like, what? I don't want to do this restaurant thing. And he's like, well, your brother, he's not licensed to do hair, and we don't know anything about hair, so we're just going to do this. I'm like, okay. So I started focusing everything with the restaurants, and from the time I started the family business with them until I left, we had about maybe 14, 15 units. And it was pretty incredible because the first unit was a turnkey, so we bought it, ran it, and after about 7 to 8 months, we opened up a brand new restaurant from the ground up. It was a Denny's diner, and we just rinse and repeat. We kept doing that. I ended up leaving the family business when I got married. I just decided, you know what? I'm getting older. This is really not the direction that I want to be in. And parents took it very hard. They basically told me, listen, we're not gonna be your safety net. If you want to leave the business, you're leaving us, and you gotta do it on your own. And I said, fine. I basically said, I can and I will. And I freaking did it.
And you did.
It was a very tough road. I mean, so I've been married now in October, it'll be 25 years. I think my husband's in the back somewhere. I have 3 sons, they're ages 23, 18, and 16. My career really took off like as soon as, I would say like in the early 2000s, I was a district manager with Starbucks Coffee. And I had up to 15, 16 units with them as a district manager. And then I was also a district manager with a different restaurant company. I was a regional sales director with GNC, the vitamin company. So I worked for a lot of Fortune 500 companies. And in 2009, we made the decision to move to Kansas City. My mother-in-law, she had gotten cancer. And so we wanted to move to the Midwest to live closer to them. And within that time frame, you know, we had lived there for 7 years. That's a very great city, by the way. Very underrated city, but it's amazing. Great culture, great food. And so basically, after 7 years, my mother-in-law passed away, my father-in-law passed away, and my husband said, listen, you're a Californian girl, you were born and raised, I know California's in your heart, let's move back. He's like, financially it makes no sense, but I know you. I know you love California, and you moved to the Midwest for me, so let's move back. And he said, you've always wanted to get into real estate, you know, why don't you do it? You know, he was really the big, motivating factor for me, you know, because we have a really strong partnership. And he said, I know you can do it. And I'll tell you, real estate, you guys all know, it is not easy. It is very difficult, and especially when you're a new agent. I'll never forget. So I was with KW, and I was all excited, you know, was trying to connect with one of these top producers. And I said, hey, listen, I would love to buy you coffee. Can you just tell me when are you free so we can kind of get together, and I want to, you know, pick your brain. And she opened up her little calendar and started looking. And this time, so it was March. She was like, oh, I think I have an opening in December. I was like, wow.
That's not gonna work, right?
Yeah, I'm like, okay. And so, I know I need to wrap this up, but I basically had to just work very hard. There were days I did not want to do it anymore. I'm like, this sucks, I hate this. Like, I can make 6 figures right now being a regional sales director for a food and beverage or a retail company. Why do I need to do this? And I had a little voice in my head that said, you need to do this. This sucks, but you need to push through, right? And I freaking did it, right? So I would do the open houses, which I hate open houses. I'm a little bit weird. I like to cold call. I don't know what it is. I get the biggest joy when I'm making a cold call and I'm setting appointments, like for that day later in the afternoon, and I show up and they sign the, like, that to me is like a natural drug. Love it. No? So, I mean, basically, so.
Gotta wrap this up.
We gotta wrap it up. Okay, sorry. So, I mean, what that means is just to push through and keep going and don't stop until you get the result you want, because it's easy to give up. Yeah. But you gotta step in your own power.
She talked about a strong partnership, and we've talked a lot about being around like strong women and being around like your tribe. Can you talk about how that has really changed your life and your business?
Absolutely. In 3 minutes. I have never, I need to first tell you, I've never shared this story publicly without crying. And so if I do tear up, and I'm being like very authentic when I get ready to tell you what happened. But in 2000, and I went through a horrible divorce, and it was 2007, like horrible. When I say things crashed, my husband, he was very abusive. He said, if you leave me, I'm gonna make sure you have nothing. Have a degree in education, but I was a stay-at-home mom. And so I was taken care of. I never thought about the fact, is he serious? And it got to a point where I knew that staying in that marriage was not gonna work. and I asked him to leave, and he followed through with what he said. And I cannot tell you the brokenness I was. Like, I need to paint the picture. This man, he shut down the checking account. He cut off my credit cards. I couldn't pay my car payment. I had little kids at home, and I woke up one morning and our electricity was turned off. And it was the most humbling, dark experience I've ever in my life went through. And I remember I had to go to the food stamp office. Like, my kids were not eating. This man walked out, and it was very humbling. And so I remember I put a hat on and I put my hair up. And if you guys know me or met me already, you know, I'm very outspoken. That was not me at the time. I had no confidence. I was like, what in the world am I going to do? And so at this point, I got down on my floor, and I remember, and I journal a lot, and I remember writing in my journal. I went back and looked it up, and it was actually 2007, April 22nd. I wrote down, I will never be controlled by a man again, and I will never be dependent upon a man. Now, I think that a partnership is absolutely wonderful, but I never wanted to feel that hopeless again. And I said, it's time for me to take back my power. But God, how the hell am I going to take back my power? I didn't know that. What God showed me is that He's going to give me a select few of women, and those women, they planted seeds. They spoke life into me every day. When I didn't have, I was so dark inside, they gave me the light for the day I was on. That's the way I want to look at it. And that's when I realized, I started saying, you know what? Somebody said, why don't you get your real estate license? I think you'd be so good. And that positive affirmation, day after day, I started believing in myself again. So I understood at that point how important it was to find your people in your tribe. And I knew I sure didn't want to be on food stamps more than 4 months because I wasn't going to shove my face in there again. But long story short, I used the system, I did what I had to do, and when I got my real estate license, I was like, okay, now what do I do now? Just like you said. And okay, I'm gonna be happy if I make $50,000 a year. Like, that was a goal to me, that was huge. When I surrounded myself with the right people and the right women, and they spoke life, and we all have crappy days, guys, and you have to find your select few that you can call. And so if there's women out there that they might be going through something totally different, we have this group so we can support you. And that's like our biggest mission. Like, even lately, there's things that we go through in life, whether it's your dad having a stroke, whether it is your kid getting sick. You have to plug into the right people. And I think, and men as well, but I think women is so important. It's not a competition. Like, we are sisterhood and we need to build each other up. And that's where I came from. And I'm stepping into my confidence back then. And don't get me wrong, it's always gonna be, I'm never gonna get to the level I wanna be at, but I think as long as you and I, we take each other together, then we're gonna get there together. That's right.
Angela and Jess, just quickly, how do you embody leadership in your personal and professional life? What does it mean to you? Because you both are just such amazing leaders in this space.
Jess, you want to go first?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I feel like day by day, you figure it out and you get little nudges and little pushes. And when you can quiet yourself and really focus on what you need to be doing, what your gut is telling you, it makes it easier to get by. Finding your support group is huge. And like, not just support, but accountability. When I text Dawn and vent, it's great, but she'll call me out. And accountability is one of the highest forms of love. And she'll say, like, Jess, you need to download this book and read it every morning. You need to text me your 3 things every
Well, that's
mindset. I know. You're in the gap. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. I am. So just day by day, believing in yourself. Others believe in you when you don't. And so I don't know that I would have ever chosen to, like, it was never a dream of mine to be up in front of people and lead, but even just this last several months at Epic, and opportunities have been provided, and I felt it in my gut, like, I do have things to share. It is my time. I can help people. So it's a day by day thing, but yeah, your support and finding people who will call you out when you're, you know, in your stuff is really powerful.
And you're doing awesome.
Thanks, Dave.
All right, so for me, leadership is really been about serving and supporting. And when Dawn spoke earlier about childhood and feeling safe, really, when I segued from being a real estate agent to being a real estate coach, one of the things that I came across that was just, it happened literally every single time I would start talking to an agent. They would say, you know, I know what to do. I'm just not doing it. And I don't know why. And my childhood, while different from Dawn's, it had the same result. You know, not feeling safe, feeling like you don't know how to get yourself out of a trauma response, right? And so I found that when I was speaking with these agents, that you know, a productivity coach is not someone who asks you about your childhood typically, right? You know, they talk to you about what are your goals, what are your dreams, and then okay, here's how we're going to get there, and then they put some sort of like pain reward system into place for you to understand how to motivate you and hold you accountable, right? So I knew these things as coach, that this was the process you were supposed to take, but realistically, I knew that every agent I was talking to had something deeper going on under the surface. Because if you know what to do, and you really want to be successful, and your goals and dreams are important to you, the way they are to all of us, if you're not doing it, there's a really good reason why, really good reason. And so I started digging deeper into what those reasons were, and I found out when I started asking about people's actual personal histories, things I wasn't really supposed to touch as a productivity coach, but I went there. I found out that almost everyone had a very similar childhood story, where regardless of what they experienced, they left childhood feeling like they didn't have a voice that mattered. And they felt like they couldn't do anything but just try to please everybody else as a means of making themselves feel like they're safe for the moment. As long as I make everybody else happy, then I'm okay, right? And so it just ended up where this is what's creating that feast or famine experience for a lot of us as agents. So I said, okay, I'm here, I'm leading these people, these agents, and supporting them. How is this? I went out and got certifications as a life coach, a meditation trainer, a crisis counselor. I have 2 health and wellness coaching certifications, right? And so I did all these things to help agents really understand that their productivity was rooted in their emotional state, and then I spoke about it. And you guys, that's been hard for me, because using my voice has been one of the biggest things that I've had to work through, because I left childhood with that same story. I knew that if I could fix it for me, I could help other people find that path, fixing it for themselves. So for me, that's a big part of leadership is going against the grain, you know, and I heard Josh say it too. I don't remember if it was today or yesterday, sorry Josh. But I remember you saying it, that people say, this is how you're supposed to do it. Well, that doesn't mean that I'm gonna do it that way, right? And so that's exactly the path that I took with coaching, was here's how you're supposed to do it. And I'm like, well, that's not working, so I'm gonna do it like this. I'll just be all by myself over here. And that is true leadership, I think, you know? Being able to speak up and say, I'm gonna do it different. And so, yeah.
I have one more question, and then we're going to make some announcements, and then we will we'll finish everything up with a, oh, I can see it just fine. And then we're going to invite you to do a short meditation with us, just a couple minutes to meet your future self. So, Mary, last question. You know, obviously you're an outstanding leader. You're the founder of Power Girls. You're the reason we're all here today. Can you just talk a little bit about some advice that you would offer a young woman in the industry that wants to rise up and lead?
Yeah, absolutely. So, as a young woman, when that's thinking about this business, that has been in this business for a while, I mean, just keep going. You know, I was talking to Ben Eilers a couple weeks ago, and it was true freedom. He asked me, true freedom, what does it mean? And to me, it means choosing. You get to choose. You're not being made to do. You're not being asked to do. You're choosing to do. And so any female that is not choosing, any male that's not choosing, start choosing. Start choosing in your life. Make your own decisions. Make your own paths. Sometimes they're not what they look like for other people, but they're your own path. And find your people. They're here. They're here. And just keep going. Make your choices. Choose. And don't be decided on for your life. Do it yourself.
And one perspective shift that kind of helped me was to think of this life that we each have like a really good book. And we all go through seasons with young kids, with parents, with clients, with stuff going on, but it's a season and it's a chapter in your book. So it is tough, but it will change. Your circumstances will change. And so think about, you know, the tougher it is, the more people I can help when I'm on the other side. And you can inspire and relate to people. And the next chapter is more important than the one you're in. So how do you want to get there? What do you want your story to be? Like,
And who do you want beside you?
yeah,
Who do you
it's
want
not
in that?
final. It's not over.
Who do you
Nobody
want
stopped
in
yet.
that?
We're all here.
Yeah.
So everyone's unstoppable. We haven't stopped. We can choose our next chapter.
It's powerful when you can make choices,
Yep.
right?
Options.
And every day is a adventure.
Yes.
Right? Yes.
Every day is a choice. All day, you make the choice. We made the choice to join Epic Realty, and we haven't regretted that one bit. It's been amazing, and you know, everything you do is just a choice. So choose wisely.
Yes.
All right, we have some announcements.
Are we gonna do announcements?
Yeah.
Okay, so you see all of us up here, and you know, we created this tribe. We all kind of moved to Epic a little like at the same time last year, and so we're the leadership because we got together and we did this. But we want to bring this to every woman out there, every woman. And so starting in May, we are doing an online Zoom call every second Wednesday at 5 p.m. It's called Wind Down Wednesday.
That's right, wine.
And we want to
Wind
invite
down.
everybody to join us on that call where you can get the mentorship that you're looking for. You can bring your true, you know, problems, questions, whatever. We just want to be there with you. Have a glass of wine with you
Or two.
and hang out and be on that Zoom. Like this is how
Or three.
by showing up, I realized that, you know, that there's nothing like in person, but when you're part of an online, of the online world, you have to show up to the Zooms. That's where your people are. They're in that room.
Oh, the Zoom.
You get together, and that's, you know, it becomes your living room.
You
Like
have to
we
turn
want,
your camera on.
yes, yeah, and we want you to be.
Make sure you have all your clothes on. That'd be good.
We want.
Hey, it's, you know, whatever you want to do.
It is wind down
Stay tuned
Wednesday.
for the announcements for that. We have a Facebook group. It's called Power Girls. So look for that. Be a part of that. Message one of us. We'll point you in the right direction. We'll see you there. But not only that, we have something else to announce.
You've got education too.
Oh yes, by
National
the way,
Education Director.
every month we do bring in a guest speaker to offer you some sort of guidance, mentorship, training, whether it be mindset, health, for your business, whatever. We have a special guest every single month. And that, stay tuned, we're gonna have the next one in May. She's amazing. So watch our group. You gotta watch our group and the events that are in the group so that you know about these events. And then, last but not least, Mary.
So Dawn has mentioned a couple times our group and where we are. We're here, we're there, we're everywhere. No, okay. So we're on Epic Cloud, Power Girls, please join. We're also Facebook group, Power Girls, please join. The Facebook group is more of a broker agnostic, so it's any female that is in this industry. We want to not only support, but we want to, involve them as well. It's not just Epic, it's women, right? Cloud, we're going to do absolutely some special stuff for Epic women. So please join both of those groups. But what Dawn is alluding to is, we grew this organization, and I say organization because it really takes a tribe, to almost 7,500 women. And we made a choice to move this group with us. And so we have marinated in all 7 of us for the past several months and really wanted to focus on what did we want for you, for us, as a group. And we realized that we already had that. We already had the organization, we already had the direction. And so, starting in May, we're going to be asking you to become more involved. We're going to bring this organization back and big and loud, because we know I'm loud. And yes, ma'am. So, we've got our national leadership here. We're going to be looking for state leadership and local leadership.
Because we are bringing it back.
We're bringing it back, baby.
We're going live. Nationwide, we are going to have Epic agents be our Epic Power Girls leadership in every city. We would love to bring them.
Yes.
So we're going to start out with our Wind Down Wednesdays, and then we're going to lead the way, and we're going to help you guys build in your own areas Epic Power Girls. But it will be you as leaders will be Epic. However, it is
for everyone.
It's for everybody.
So it's opportunity for you as well.
So if you're interested in leadership, please reach out to us, join those groups, send us messages so that we'll probably have a form here pretty soon for you to fill out if you are interested in leadership in your city or for your state. More to be announced about that later, but that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Woo! So, we've talked about, you've heard a lot about the books, 10X is easier than 2X, the gap in the gain, right? And who, not how. I'm actually reading a book right now by Benjamin Harding that is Be Your Future Self Now. And so what he does is he invites the reader to think about what your life is going to look like in 20 years. So I would invite all of you right now to think about that for a moment. You're 20 years older.
Close your eyes and think about it.
It's kind of a scary thing to think, right? It's like, oh my God, I'll be in my 60s. So if God gives me the opportunity to get there. So, but it's a powerful thing to think about. And as we talk about stepping into our power and also change everything, I want you to think about one thing that you can change. So let's go ahead. I want everyone to close your eyes for just a moment. And really just kind of take a deep breath. And just get rooted in your body. And just let some of that stress from the day just peel away. And I want you to imagine that it's 20 years from today. 2044. And you're getting up and you go and you look in the mirror. Think about, who do you see? What are you feeling right now? Imagine that this is the person that you want to be. This is your ideal self in 20 years. What have you accomplished? What did you do at Epic? So think about who you are in this moment. And I want you to embody that feeling. So take that future self and embody that person into who you are right now. And ask yourself the question, what do I need to let go of? What is it that I need to change in my life right now so that I can embody this person, this ideal self that I say I want to create and be? So what do you need to let go of right now? What do you need to change? Or maybe there's a habit that you need to start doing. Something that's really gonna help you to manifest the life that you desire, but right now, because in order to be that person, you've got to be that person now. There's no time to wait for it. You've got to start putting those habits into your life right now and letting go of the things that aren't serving you, whether that's a bad relationship, whether that's alcohol, whether that's, procrastination, whatever that looks like for you. I just invite you to think about what it is, what that person in the future is telling you, whispering in your ear right now. What do I need to let go of so I can rise? And that's what I leave you all with today.
Oh, that was amazing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you everyone for being here. Thank you, ladies. All right, so just reach out to one of us. We're going to be posting some things in those groups for leadership, and I can't wait to meet all of you.
And please reach out, come meet us. We would love to meet you and get to know you.
Thanks, guys.